vlogsters. I hope that this vlog finds you whenever it finds you, however it finds you. I hope it finds you in joy and in peace and safe. I do. I would like to apologize for starting to clean when I got you on the waiting to get you on the camera to start to clean. No, I'm kidding. I know you guys don't care. Not that I'm kidding. I don't kid about my apology, but I know you guys don't care. But I just wanted to remove some of the newly added things to my table before I picked up have my first sip of coffee. I have some Americana decor, patriotic decor, flag DIYs, whatever you want to call them, coming, and they're glittery. And this table proves it. But I'm so funny. It's one of them has so much glitter that I'm like, oh, do I throw that out or should I save that for a project? Good morning. Here goes that first sip. Take your first sip with me. Actually, you probably had a sip before I even post this. You know, it's funny because I like to share my morning with you, but obviously, unless I'm doing a live stream, you can't see this till after my morning. So there's that. But first and foremost, I wanted to come on here and say thank you to everybody. Now, whether you agree with what's going on in the world or disagree or agree with the movement or disagree with the movement, like the language, don't like the language, regardless of that, I wanted to say thank you. Whatever side of the political aisle you might stand on, whatever your religious beliefs, whatever your, I don't know, nationality, background, where you come from in the country, I just wanted to say thank you. I appreciate each and every one of you that has shown me that you have kindness in your heart. And this is going to sound weird, but hear me out before you go ahead and hear what, make an opinion, I guess. I also appreciate the people who don't have kindness in their heart. I mean, first of all, we'll say God teaches us to love everybody, the sinner and the saint. But more importantly, for me, as not a saint, the people who have other than love pouring out of their heart remind me of how important it is to have love pouring out of your heart. Now, I'm sure that makes sense in a way and doesn't make sense to some people, but basically, sometimes it takes the and I hate to use these words, but let me get the point out and you'll understand. Sometimes it takes the Hitler to understand and appreciate the Gandhi. And I know that that's so obscure and it's really, but hopefully you get the point behind it. I don't encourage evil and I don't encourage hatred. But if it's out there, then I can learn to appreciate my life without it. I can learn to appreciate how I need to treat others because I know that's not how I want to be treated, if that makes any sense. So anyhow, that comes along with me saying thank you. So as you know, probably if you're subscribed to the channel, then I posted a very short silent video the other day. I had disabled the comments on it because I didn't want it to be anything but a statement, if that makes any sense. I wasn't afraid it would start a dialogue or a conversation, but that wasn't the purpose of it. That purpose was just literally my heart was hurting. And oddly enough, so every once in a while, I will run a concept by my YouTube friends, my family, depending on what it is, and it hits home. So this particular thing originally I had made the video 8 minutes and 46 seconds. So each frame was drawn out a bit. And if you're paying attention to the story that's going on, the story about George Floyd, 8 minutes and 46 seconds was how long he was under attack, just to put it mildly. And I had some feedback, some positive feedback, some worrisome feedback, because, you know, obviously I've been trying so hard to grow my channel, to support my family, and I didn't want to do anything purposefully to the detriment of that. But as a Christian, as an American, as a woman, as somebody who has always been morbidly obese, somebody who has been on the very low end of the economic spectrum, I've been oppressed, but not to the 1% of what has happened to Black people in the United States of America since they were dragged here. That being said, I don't want this to become about that. I wanted to come on here to say thank you to everybody and to say why I said what I said, how I said it. But when I put the video together, I was getting ready to voice over a DIY for my main channel, and I was just flooded with all of this on social media and in the news, and it just weighed on my heart. Like, I really weighed on my heart. I couldn't find the energy to just even talk. You know, I was texting and I was crying, and I just couldn't even talk. I never mind do a voiceover. I ran the concept by my family and my friends, and I got a lot of assistance. But one thing that I realized, my sister Alicia, who's amazing. Hi, Alicia, I love you. She told me stuff that I didn't know. She informed me about the Blackout Tuesday, that they were asking people on social media to stop their everyday nonsensical social media. And I don't mean it's nonsense all the time. Obviously, sharing our lives with each other is not nonsense. But the everyday types of social media that we do, what we're wearing, what we're doing, what we're eating, that kind of stuff. And to focus on the cause for a day. It's really supposed to really be a week, but, you know, especially for a day, it was Blackout Tuesday. And it was becoming something different to other people. And what I had realized at that day, and I kind of mentioned it in my vlog portion of my Dollar Tree haul, was, you know, you don't know what you don't know. And I know that that sounds stupid and simplistic and ignorant perhaps, but you know, you really just don't know what you don't know. And until you open your eyes and purposefully look to seek the information, as opposed to just sitting back and let the information pour on you. What I think I'll mention this because when I hear something, I know that the news and the 24-hour news is really, it's a business, and and they sensationalize life. And, you know, we wonder why 12-year-olds are on TikTok showing their butt, because they only learned a world where, and I use that as a broad example, because they've only learned to live in a world where we've had these sensational news stories. Everything is sensational. Everything is sensational. Now, I know that the media industry, the news industry, they have to get the sensation out there. I mean, it's really before television news. It's what headlines on newspapers were all about. They sell newspapers. But anyway, so what I've always done, or I've done as an adult, I shouldn't say I've always done it because I was really that interested when I was a child, but really who is? As an adult, what I would do is I would hear or see a sensational headline or hear a story that, whether it was too good to be true or it was good or whatever it was, I always researched where the story came from. Is it true? What's the history behind what they're saying, or whatever it was? So, I have examples, but I think that they would just infuriate people, so I'm not going to give them. But that's what I always did. I always just like delved into it, educated myself on the subject if I was not previously educated before, and then I would make my opinion based on what I learned. Now, if you're interested, yes, I educate myself in from multiple sources, not just from the source of the person that got the story. I go and I research multiple sides of every story because it's important. It really is important to, I don't know, to make a proper opinion. So, smile for the thumbnail. But I guess to make an educated opinion, that's what I mean to say. But what I realized I was lacking in was this information of what's going on today. You know, the movement, as I mentioned in the vlog portion of the Dollar Tree haul, is not intended to lessen the importance of anybody else's cause. It's just, for right now, we're focused on this cause. And it really needs to be focused on, whether it's intensely like it is now or something that you add to your daily life. But it needs to be focused on every day until it's over. The only way we make changes in this world is by standing up for those who can't, for using our voices when we can. And and I hate the term, but there's really, it's the actual like technical term of my job, is as a social media influencer, which again, my purpose is to teach, not to influence, but like I said, that's the technical term. As a social media influencer, I feel like it's my responsibility. As a teacher, I feel like it's my responsibility. If I learn something, I take it to you and I teach it to you. Whether it's how to use chalk paint, or whether it's what's actually happening in the Washington, D.C. But you get my point, hopefully. Hopefully you get my point. So I feel like it was my responsibility. And then when I heard one young woman speak, and she has a regular post on her Instagram. She's an artist and she's a creator. She creates some beautiful work, but she's also very spiritual. She uses faith-based information. Basically, she bases her life. She has a faith-based life, let's put it that way. And when I heard her, she was the one who gave me or re-sparked the information, because some things you learn as a child, some things you learn as a teenager, and if they're not used in your everyday life, you forget them. So let's put it that way. So I learned about the sin of omission and the sin of commission. But it took her using that example in this situation for me to open my eyes to, wow, that's what we've been doing. That's what I've been doing. I can't speak for everybody, but that's what I've been doing. And I need to stop. And to stop it, I have to share. And this is what I have to share. Now, I laid in bed this morning. When I post something that may or may not be controversial or upsetting, I don't post it to be controversial, but I do, like, because it's my business, you know, I don't want to do anything to hurt my business, but I also have to be me, and I also have to do everything that's within my conscience to do. So, but that being said, I don't want to do anything to hurt my business. So when something I post has the potential that it could go either way, I don't really sleep that great. I actually fell asleep really early, before my video even went live. And I woke up to about 5 o'clock in the morning to what I can only describe as the most beautiful expressions of love that brought tears to my eyes, that I was so moved with joy. A couple of weeks ago on this channel, we had some stuff go on that actually moved me to tears of sadness, and I worried about what I was doing in the world, and you know, it made me sad until I realized, but this was the 180-degree opposite. It was the 180-degree opposite. It was just joy and love and support, and I just love you guys so much. I really do. I've heard some beautiful stories throughout. It moved me, and I wanted to come on here and say thank you. That's all this video was supposed to be, just a video of me saying thank you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for at least listening to see what we need to do differently. I hope and I pray that you're able to do that, to see the world a little differently, to hopefully help those who cannot help themselves, to stand up for those who cannot stand up for themselves. I had a couple of really good quotes, and I forgot to put them. I screen grabbed them. And I wanted to talk about them in the vlog today, and I just remembered that I forgot to do that. But definitely one of them is, if you don't stand for what's right, you'll fall for anything. I've heard that before, and I like that one. But, there is one beautiful one, and what I'm going to do here for a second is I'm just going to sit silent, and I'm going to post it. I was able to share some things on Instagram. Now, being a plus size woman, and I've always been, On Instagram, I follow a few people because they're plus size influencers as well. Mostly not like promote the fat girl, which kind of, yes, it is. But I don't follow every plus size influencer. I just, these ladies speak to me on some level. I can relate to them on some level. They make me laugh, smile, think, whatever it is. So one of the ladies that I've been following for a while, her name is Danielle Young. I actually found her through, I think Fabuplus is where I found her from. I don't think it was Jada Pinkett, but I think it was Fabuplus. And it's a magazine. And she has been, she's a news reporter. She does entertainment news normally. But from a black person's perspective. She's, I feel like it's Essence magazine that sometimes, like the digital magazine. I think that's who she writes for on occasion. But I shared her this morning because she, I don't want to say has done my research for me, but she has shared tons of information that I have spent like days just absorbing this information from her. She'll post, this person's message and this person's message and this person's message and what this person has to say about that person's message. And it really has been amazing. So I shared her this morning. There are others, but she has really been the one that's really given my eyes such wide opening. And I mean that because she's just not like, I'm going to, and I hate to use the word militant, but she's the one who's not just going to be like, this is we're going to focus. This is everybody get out there and throw bricks. You know what I mean? Like she just isn't focused on one valley. She covers it all. The peaceful protesters, the protests that become riots, the way that the government is handling the things, the social media influencers, she shares them back onto themselves, newscasters, politicians, whatever it is, she has just filtered all the crap out for us. And I love her for it. I did share her on Instagram this morning. Somebody asked me in one of the comments, do I have an Instagram and can they follow me? And the answer is yes and 100%. In the description box of all of my videos is a link to each one of my social medias. Facebook is my personal Facebook account, but I've since have a public Facebook account because Facebook bought Instagram. Everything I post to Instagram goes to my public Facebook account, whether it's the stories or the photos that I share. I obviously have Instagram and I have Twitter. I have a TikTok, but I just mostly watch TikTok. I would like to start making TikToks because I find them very entertaining and I like to entertain, but I don't know what I want to do yet. So I know that sounds silly, but there's all these different avenues in TikTok. It's not just dancing and lip syncing. There's cooking and creating and crafting and art, and there's just so much stuff. So I kind of feel like I don't know where I want to go with it. So I don't know where to start. I know where to start, but you know what I mean. Anyhow. And I'm on Twitter, but mostly, again, Twitter, I post to Instagram and it goes to Twitter. I don't utilize them like I could be to grow my business. I know that if I shared all my videos on my Facebook page, then I would help grow my business and stuff. But for now, this is what it is. So I do have all of that. If you have trouble finding the description box, if you are not tech savvy or new to Instagram, I'm new to Instagram. Sure, that too. If you're new to Facebook, this isn't even Facebook. Have another sip. Hold on a sec. If you have trouble finding the description box because you're new to YouTube, next to the title of almost every video, and it's just about next to the title, sometimes it's just under the title, is a little upside down black triangle. I mean, I guess it's still a triangle if it's upside down, but it points down. If you click on that, that opens the description box. It'll start with like the day the video was published, and it'll go down to like my little blurb that I put, and then all of the information, how to find the other channel, how to find Jim's channel, links to all of the, like, you know, to Walmart grocery and to Rakuten, all my, you know, what's the word? Affiliate links to different things, promotional situations and stuff. That can all be in the, found in the description box down below. The other thing, since I'm mentioning it, and I did mention Instagram, is there is something in Instagram where you can post on your main page, on your wall, basically is what they call it. Or in your feed is technically the term. So there's the feed and the stories. So you can post in your feed where you can just share a picture and put a blurb. But you can also post in your stories. Now your stories last 24 hours on your story feed, but then you can save your stories to your Instagram page, and people can look at them in the future. On the stories, they're only 15-minute segments. They're only allowed to be 15-minute segments. Sometimes it looks like a minute-long segment because they allow you to put 4 15-minute segments at one time. So if I post a video that's actually a minute, it'll be broken up into 15-second segments. And you can watch the segment mark go across the top. That's not important. However, when I share somebody's something, like an Instagram story of somebody, not an Instagram story, an Instagram TV program, and I'll tell you about that in a second. When I share that to my stories page, it'll only show 15 seconds of it. Or if you want to see somebody's post, more often than not, I put a little sticker on there that says tap here to show you how to do it. But if you're new to Instagram, and I got a message this morning about, like, I wanted to see this, but it went away before I could finish it. And I was just instructions, really. I show you how to do Instagram. If you're on somebody's Instagram story, and you can tell someone has Instagram stories if their icon picture has like a red line around it, that means they have a new story up. So as you watch their story, they may be silent until you make the volume louder. That's one thing. You might not hear any words, but make sure your volume's turned up so that you can actually hear what they're talking about. If there's sound. Sometimes there's not. If there is a shared post, you can tap on it. Usually from the middle, like from the top down, the middle top down, and then a little bit over on the right-hand side, but maybe like directly in the middle. You'll tap there, and then a little button will come on that says See Post. And when you just click on See Post, it'll take you to the actual post. You'll be able to watch the entire minute, 2 minute, whatever. There's something called Instagram TV. Anybody can use it, I think, after a certain, I don't know if you have to have any followers, to be honest with you. It's because it's new since I started Instagram. And what you can do is you can post longer videos into Instagram TV. And if you can tell it's an Instagram TV because on the bottom of the Instagram post in the picture itself is what looks like a little TV with like little antennas. And that means that it's going to play a certain portion in the story or in the post, and you have to click on it to go watch it on Instagram TV and comment and all that stuff. Okay. So that's those. Oh, and in Instagram stories, if somebody writes a lot of stuff and it only has 15 seconds for you to read it, all you do is you hold your finger on the post. It will stop counting the time down. You'll be able to read whatever it is, and then you can go on to the next one. To go between stories, to go between segments in somebody's Instagram story, you just tap on the right side of the screen. To go to the next Instagram story of the next person that you're following, you hold your thumb on the right side of the screen and you swipe. And it'll go from story to story to story. That is Instagram 101. Posting is easy. There's a button, a big button at the bottom with a plus sign in the middle. You just click on it, pick a picture you want to post, write your little description like we do in the description box here, and then decide who gets to see it. Public, private, are you sending it everywhere type of thing. And then where you want to put it. You can also put it from there. You can put, decide goes from your post to your stories or whatever. So anyhow, That's how you do Instagram. I'm sure plenty of you know already how to do Facebook, but if you have any questions about that, we'll make that in another video. So I'm glad that we were able to chat this morning. I'm so thankful and grateful for you. I have not finished a declarative sentence today, I'm pretty sure. I just wanted to say I was talking about my sister Alicia and how she shared with me about Blackout Tuesday. So I didn't want to post on my regular channel because it was weighing on my heart. No, not that I didn't want to post on my regular channel. I couldn't do my voiceover. I was trying to put together a video of clips of something that I already hauled, and that wasn't my intention. It was supposed to be a DIY on Tuesday, which was Wednesday morning, whatever. So I put together this video and I shared it, and my sister Alicia said, why don't you cut it down to 2 minutes, which is how long George Floyd actually was sort of begging for his life. And it's hard to, and I haven't even seen the video, and it's just hard to get the image out of my head. And she said, why don't you use the hashtag Blackout Tuesday? And she told me about Blackout Tuesday, which I hadn't known about. I think this was already I feel like it was already 5 o'clock at night or something. It was late. So I went on, I found out what she was talking about. I looked, and I saw the movement and what it was and how it began. And then I started following other social media influencers that said the movement had changed, and not to use the hashtag Black Lives Matters in your Instagram blackout posts, because then when somebody looks at that hashtag to get information about where they can help or where their protest is or any of that information, it was just coming up on a blackness on their screen. So they were like, this is why we have to just put Blackout Tuesday if that's where it's going to go, if that's why you're posting. But anyhow, she really helped. She really helped. I really have mentioned this before, but I'll mention it again. I don't watch the news regularly. I don't say that I'm keeping myself ignorant. I don't want to say that that's what I'm doing, because that's not my intention. But I know that first of all, the news these days is a lot different than it was when I was young. And it's hard to see the difference and not be affected. So the other thing is, it's all bad news. Every once in a while you get a news station, and they'll leave you a half an hour of just nonsense that's happened in the world, all the bad stuff. And they might give you a good news story from time to time, or 2 or 3. But I want to see a news station that opens, I want to see a news program that opens with all the good news first. It's funny because there's always this, Doc says, what do you want first, the good news or the bad news? And more often than not, I know people who pick good news first. But maybe that's just me and my circle, so maybe that's why I do it. But on Instagram, there is a Instagram post. I guess it's an Instagram source. It's a lady who put this together. It's called the Good News Movement, I believe it's called. And she posts the good news. She reshares all the good news stories. The little girl who made the signs for the nursing homes in her area. She posted on the nursing homes when COVID was happening and nobody could have visitors. She went and made all these beautiful posters and glued them into the insides of people's windows, or outsides of people's windows, so they can look in and see that everybody can get a little sunshine in their life. So just good news like that. I like good news like that. Because otherwise, wouldn't it just be horrible if it's just, why are we living in this world if it's so downtrodden and terrible? If you're not reminded every day that there's beauty and love And there's more beauty and love than there is downtroddenness. But, or that, I don't know if that actually is a word. I might have just not made up. But there is more beauty and love in this world than there is hate. But why do we focus on the hate? Why are the news programs always about what somebody did to somebody else? Because it sells. It sells advertisers. It sells newspapers. It tunes you into watch. Is it why we stare at traffic accidents? Maybe. I always looked at traffic accidents to make sure I didn't recognize the car. It's all, I mean, then I was an EMT, and then I looked at traffic accidents to, you know, always to see if I could jump out and help. I know that sounds stupid. When there's like fire trucks and things, just be like, hey, you know, maybe they need one more hand. I don't know. I know what I'm doing. So, but yeah, I mean, I never was like the sensation of like somebody getting hurt. It was more like, what can I do to help? It was more like, do I know that person? So anyhow, listen, I love you. Thank you so much. Again, this is the beginning and the end of this video. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys are amazing. You surprise me every day. I really mean it. And as always, you take care. God bless. Stay safe. And I'll see you next time. Take care. God bless. Stay safe. And I'll see you next time. Bye.